Welcome. In today's session, we will discuss a new change within the law that allows law school students from the class of 2020 to practice law. This is a significant change, and the purpose of this video, while we say that all of our videos is important, but this particular one is a change in the fundamental rules of law, and we'll discuss it in more detail. Let's get started. This press release, which was put out on April 6, 2020, it says that law grads may temporarily practice under a Supreme Court order. And that is a judge from the Supreme Court of New Jersey has authorized that graduates can practice law for a limited time. And we'll talk about what the order means and how does that affect you within the child support agency. Hello, my name is Chris, and in this session and on this channel, we discuss how changes to any law or in the legal practice that affects child support and how that affects your rights within the program. This is a chart for New Jersey. As you know, different states collect what is called administrative wage garnishment, 45 CFR 32. And since 2014 to 2018, New Jersey has collected approximately $1 billion. In 2016, they collected $101 billion and $15 million and so forth. So it's very consistent across each year. So for 2019, I anticipate they will collect relatively the same amount. New Jersey, on the list of top 10 collections for child support garnishment, ranks number 8. We've done videos on the top 5. You may review that on this channel. So let's look at this news release. And again, this is a press release that was put out by the New Jersey court system and the Bar Association. This is not from the New York Times or Wall Street Journal. So here it says here on April 6 that upon consulting with the Department of Health, Chief Justice Stuart Robner, on behalf of the state Supreme Court, has decided to allow law school students to practice law. And those graduates are from the 2020 law schools. And here they named many of the law schools that he consulted in order to arrive at this decision. We have another video that we're planning to release. It's called Mothers Did Not Put You on the Program Part 2. We released Part 1, which involves food stamps. As you know, we're in the middle of a pandemic, and I wanted to put that video out, Part 1, that says if the mother decides to ask the state for child support, it does not translate that the men or fathers will be on the program. So we're working on Part 2. And also, we're asking you, please like our channel, please subscribe. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and other social media platforms. We have a section which we call Call to Action. And for this particular topic, what we're saying is we have some strategies and techniques that you should use in order to, again, challenge this change. Now, there's nothing you could do about this change if you're in New Jersey, but we feel that there's other states that have already implemented this. It's just that you have not been told or they've not put out a media list. So that's why we're focused on New Jersey for this particular order. So here we are again with the press release, and I want to highlight something that's very significant. It says here that the judge consulted several schools regarding why he arrived at this decision. He says here at the bottom paragraph, the court recognized that without the means to passing the bar and obtain a law license, qualified students who expect to graduate this spring may lose job offer. Here's my understanding. We are in the middle of a pandemic, a global pandemic. And this judge has decided instead of we needing more nurses doctors and critical care folks, we need more lawyers. So what we're saying is, if you flood the market or add 100,000 new lawyers to the system, somehow we're going to resolve the coronavirus issue. I don't think so. And again, this is my opinion. On this channel, we use what is called the non-lawyer maxim. And basically it says that we can teach you the law. We're not practicing lawyers. We're not legal agencies. We make no claim. But here on this maxim, it says here at the bottom, there can be no sanctions or penalty imposed upon one because of exercises of constitutional right, which is Scheer versus Cullen, as well as the practice of law is an occupation of common rights, Sims versus Ahorn. So here now, we've been saying this on our channel from the beginning, that we don't practice law and we don't have a license. Well, here comes a group of graduate students who can now hold on to these maxims, which I have here on the screen, and quote and demonstrate that they could use this same thing against you. So all those people out there in YouTube who've criticized my channel about I'm practicing law without a license, well, here comes the grad students. They do not have a license, and they will hold true to these non-lawyer maxim. How would you combat that? Please leave an opinion on our channel right below here on YouTube, what you think about this. Because now, theoretically, I'm in the same boat as these grad students. Let's look at the law itself. Let's dive into it further. So it says here that the court order from the judge, the decision was he consulted with the guidance of the New Jersey Department of Health and other authorities on this decision. And the decision is that these grad students will be allowed to enter appearances, draft legal documents, pleadings, provide legal services to client. They may engage in negotiations, settlement discussion. And it's inconsistent with the practice of law in New Jersey. And the only thing is they need to have what is called a certificate of character. So here's the issue with child support. If your paperwork contains argument that you're before a fake judge, you now have to have arguments to state that you're before a fake attorney. This is law. It's not going to change. Again, you have to adjust your paperwork. I'm saying it's New Jersey, but I think it's going to be implemented in all 50 states. So looking further into the decision by the Supreme Court of New Jersey, the Committee on Character. Well, what exactly is the Committee on Character? Before, these grad students need to have a license, but now all they need is a Committee on Character. So this is the letter notice to the bar, and it governs the Supreme Court Committee on Character. And here it says that there must be of good character standing to mission to practice law. Well, who decides what is a committee on character? Who are on these committees? How did they make up? How did they arrive at their solution? Can you get the understanding of if all they need is this character committee certificate? Well, who decides? Well, again, here, this was amended in July 1st of 2017. These are the only requirements they need for these graduate students to be practicing law. So I look further into the order from the judge, and it says here that the students can practice law, right? And they abide by what is called Rule Section 21-3 is unchanged. So I got an idea. What is Rule 121-3 that is unchanged regarding this new change? Here are the rules governing New Jersey state law of Rule 1, Section 21-2. It says here in Section 3, is a law student or law graduate practicing within the limits of 1 Chapter 21. It says that the law students can also be a party of interest. So if I read this correctly, this has already existed in New Jersey's statute or court practices that law school student can practice law. So if that's the case, then someone who challenges my channel that's saying I am practicing law without a license, then therefore you can charge these students with the practice of the law. But here's a catch: they have a court order that says they can do this. So this is very critical, very significant. So for all the people out there that are helping men to get off child support and is finding challenges, not just in New Jersey, but other states, this could be the section of the law that you haven't reviewed that affects that strategy. So let's look at the rules governing 1 Chapter 21. And it says here in the first paragraph, section F, it says, non-attorneys in a contested case before the Office of Administrative Law and the administrative agency may be permitted on application to do what? Represent the state agency on behalf of the Attorney General. And in section 3, it says represent the county welfare agency. So Rule 20, Chapter 21 is basically saying that non-attorneys can do this. Now, the reason why I point out administrative law section is that we often hear, and sometimes I say it, that you're before a fake judge, you're not in a real court. Technically, you're in administrative law and administrative court. And we should, and I will try to do my best to go forward by saying it's an administrative law and administrative agency, as opposed to using the word fake court and fake attorneys and fake judges. So I'll make that correction. So let's go further. So it is administrative law that child support operates under. Which brings me to my opinion. This is all about the money. Many of the suggestions I've on this channel, they are my opinion. But this particular change in the law to allow grad students is all about the money. The judge in the order said so. He said, because these grad students will lose job offers or prospective job offers because they cannot take the bar exam, because the bar exam has been postponed due to the global pandemic of the virus. And again, I'm going to say it, okay? And I'm not disrespecting any attorneys or any students who want to be attorneys. But in this pandemic, what we need are more doctors, nurses, and caregivers, because that is the critical problem. Adding another 100,000 grad student to the system does not solve that critical problem. So how are they able to get away with this strategy? And again, I ask about, is this constitutional? Is it declaratory? It's very simple. 45 CFR 301.1, as you know, is the child support agency, right? Within the Department of Health. Right? And through a cooperative arrangement of 45 CFR 302.34, if you look there in the second paragraph, it says, written agreement to provide courts and law enforcement officials with information obtained from the state for a welfare agency pursuant to 45 CFR 235.70. What that means is that, and this is our opinion, that these grad students are coming directly into the child support system. Some make other practices, obviously, because there's different areas of practice, but there is a segment that will be coming into the family law section, which is welfare and the child support agency. This is why I'm calling to action this provision, because I feel all 50 states will implement this. And again, they're doing it under administrative law through contracts. This is how it's done. Then this explains the reason why the judge says in the order, we consulted with the Department of Health. They did not say they consulted with the United States Supreme Court 9 judges. No, they consulted with the Department of Health that manages child support. Now, how are they doing this? Well, there's a manual called the New Jersey Child Support Hearing Officer Program. Many of these graduates are going to probably go through this program. in order to understand the child support. And here on this channel, I welcome them to review all the videos on child support. My channel is open to anyone. If the grad student wants to look at my strategies of how I go after and challenge the child support agency, they're free to do so. So here's where it comes full circle and why I'm sounding the alarm. In 2018, 32,509 men signs what is called the paternity acknowledgement. Whether it's an agreement or a contract, that's minor. The issue is 32,000 men in New Jersey sign this document. In prior years, it's similar. We have all the years. But think about this. If I have 500 graduates in New Jersey entering the welfare program under contract, where do you think I will start? My opinion, I would start here. I have a captive audience who are somewhat locked into the system, and it's an immediate challenge. That's 32,000. As you know, the child support system is very profitable. So for them to go after this area makes more sense. That is, if you had a child in 2018 and you were unmarried, or 2019 you were unmarried, or 2017 you're unmarried, or any time thereafter, this is the list that these graduates can start with. So, why the sounding of the alarm? My argument has been on this channel that these non-financial advisors, remember, these lawyers, they don't have a license for public accounting. They have no license for tax preparation. They have no license for bookkeeping, and they have no license as a financial advisor. Here now, they do not have a license to practice law, but they're still coming after men for child support. This is critical. And if you're the gentleman out there or a woman out there or agency out there that are helping men to remove themselves from the child support, this is now an additional problem that you have to tackle. How do you challenge the opposing attorney? Or let's say you hired one on your side. Are they qualified enough to challenge it again? That's the other side of this. So if you are one of those men that are on child support and you want to hire these graduates, how do you know that they're going to perform very well against the agency? You don't know. You have nothing to measure it by. So now we're at a section called call to action. So let's summarize all of what we had in this video. So we now have a group of graduates from law schools. And again, I'm not challenging their ability that they're not smart enough for law. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is they don't have a license, right? The license was the demarcation that decides whether you would challenge a pro se, pro per person or a lawyer. This license has been removed, and all they require now is a certificate of character, which we don't know what the guidelines are for those character, right? And this order is in place. Whether you like it or not, and whether you shout or scream constitutionality in the state of New Jersey, this is what is real. I think this is going to be practiced in all 50 states eventually, but for now, New Jersey has implemented this. Next, the acknowledgement of paternity. If you have a child and you are not married in 2018 or right here in 2019, if there's a disagreement between you and the mother, expect that this is the first list that the agency will use to come after you. That list. So you have to decide if you had signed this paternity that you are now a target and you should be aware. So what do you do if you've decided that you are now the target of these law grad students? Well, here I've put together what is called a study guide for anyone that's either involved in child support for a while. Understand that child support is a federal program administered by the state. And here on the list, I list a section under 45 CFR 303. That's the 303 series. This is where all the enforcements comes in. I've gone through all 108 sections, as you can see the number, and I've highlighted here in the study guide just a handful, about 12, 15 that you need to study. You can start. So I'm giving you a tip and I'm giving you a direction. You start here by studying these areas because this is the enforcement piece that's coming after you. For example, your check, what they call the stimulus check, is under bombardment by your state. In other words, the federal government issues the check and the state is intercepting that check under this program, 45 CFR Part 300. There's also the income tax. If after COVID-19 you find yourself on the unemployment line, they're going to be coming after you under 303.102. So this is a short study guide that you go, again, you want to study the whole program, this is a great place to start. So I have saved you hours of going through the manual and you focused here. That's now why we need to understand this. We are in a war. I like to quote The Art of War. On this channel, I said this, that Sun Tzu said to avoid your enemy, but the only way to do that is that you have to disarm them. You have to steal their ability to offend, torment, and irritate you. Well, now the state of New Jersey have now what I call quote unquote deputize graduate students to now be coming after you. You're going to have to disarm them. You're going to have to try to defeat them because that's another layer of child support. So whether you're working with me or you're working with someone else who is trying to help you on child support, and I commend them for wanting to help you, they now have to understand what the changes in New Jersey, as well as other states who will adopt this, what does that mean for their paperwork, what that means for their legal, for the strategies to use. And again, we're all non-lawyers. We're not proposing to be lawyers. We're just saying that this is real. Now, why we go through all of this? The framers of the Constitution, Thomas Jefferson and others, have said that if you give up essential liberties to obtain temporary safety, then you don't deserve safety or liberty. And what that means is you have to fight the agency. You don't have a choice. Whether you're on child support currently fighting them, or, in my opinion, as a result of COVID-19, there'll be new men that will be involved in child support program. You have to tell yourself you're going to fight. You have to fight in order to break free of the agency. And where they're going to start with is the list of men who signed the acknowledgement of paternity. So this brings us to close to the end of our presentation. And again, any comments or questions you want to ask, please feel free to email us. If you disagree with anything that I've mentioned in this video or any other video, please feel free to send us a comment or notes or put it in the description below. We ask that you subscribe to our channel as well as hit the notification bell. We also ask for a small donation of about $25 or any amount that you choose to help us with our research material. We just researched that there's a new change in the law, a new change in the strategy. We've saved you hundreds of hours of research to either find this or not find this, and we'd like to continue to do that for you. So here at the end, as we said, there's a new rule, new decision from a judge from the Supreme Court in New Jersey that says students can practice law as long as they have the certificate of character and they're working with an attorney that has 3 years of experience. Thank you. Have a good day.